Hello, hello. How are we? Can we believe it's almost July? Oof. Time just keeps flying, huh? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are. Let me know if my audio is coming through crisp and clear. It should be. My mods usually let me know, but there is about a 10-second delay between what's actually happening and what you're seeing. Hello, I hope you're well. I hope the weather's good for you. I think it may have been raining in the UK this week. And I know that there's a lot of really intense weather actually all around the world at the moment. But it's a beautiful 27, 28 degrees here today. So can't complain. Though I have admittedly have not been outside much today as I've been preparing for today's episode. Thank you to the 120, 30 people that are watching right now. And hello to all the people that are watching it back after the fact. So we've got a lot to cover today. I hope to be here for about 45 minutes. So I'm just going to kind of fly into it. And there is quite a lot to cover. If there's anything that you need clearing up at any point, just throw it in the chat. One of my mods will pick it up, and towards the end of the episode or as I'm going along, I'll try and pick up on those things. I want to just say a quick thank you to everyone who participated in Pomline this weekend. If you haven't already, you can still do so. Just go over to our community group or go over to our Twitter and you can participate in the quests and the hunts. We knew that Pomlines would not be as intense as they were previously because the reason why they were so successful was the pandemic. We were all stuck at home, so we knew that we had to adapt. And I think going forward, we will probably keep with the idea of pre-recording interviews and kind of just throwing them out throughout the year rather than just throwing them down on a weekend. But I would like to offer my thanks to Alejandra Reynoso and to Ali Hillis and to Pontus Holmgren for talking with me this past week and being our featured guest for Pomline 5. It was very nice. And thank you to everyone who made a purchase in the store this week. Now more than ever, the sales really matter. I'll talk about that actually a little bit more shortly. But I do have a lot that I want to talk about. Seven Deadly Streamers says, tell us something exciting. I think that's you, Josh. I will. Trust me, sir. I will throw exciting things at you. So let's jump right into it. So much to talk about. As I said, my mods are here today. I believe Nikita, Rachel, and Ant are in the chat, and they will be following along and keeping things good, and they will throw stuff up on my screen here so I can see as and when it happens. But before I do go any further, I am going to momentary delay and just put my iPad so it doesn't fall asleep, so I don't have to constantly wake it up, which is really awkward. So let's jump right into it and let's look at what we've got going. So first of all, I want to talk about Tripon, which I usually say for a little bit later on, but let's just jump into it. Tripon is something that a lot of you collect. If you don't know what it is, it's triple triad. It's our form of it from Final Fantasy VIII. So let's just boom straight into it. So the Tripon trading card game is a KupoCon thing. If you're not familiar with it, just go on our website. It's kupocon.com/Tripon. There is lots to see when it comes to Tripon. So go and take a look at the cards. They're really quite fantastic. We're very proud of the collection that we've made, like well over 300 cards now. It's really quite something. And a lot of, a lot of very talented artists involved. And yeah, just please do check it out if you haven't already. So 5.4 is our current release, which didn't release that long ago, and 5.5 is the next release, and that will most likely be the final release of Gen 5. So you can probably get an idea of where we're going with the events as well. So that will be the end of the 5.x range, probably, and it's set to release on October 20th, 2022, which is just ahead of the release of, just ahead of the Le Pom event in Montreal. Let me try and get my words right. So you can tell it's been a while since I did a KupoCast. So we're excited for that. And I will be showing you those cards in full today. So we've got some exciting changes coming with 6.0 and onwards. I'm not going to really talk in great detail about that today, but I will touch on some of it. But 6X will launch in February 2023. Does that give you any clues about what that means for Glasgow? New folders are being worked on, so I cannot recall if I mentioned it. I cannot remember if I mentioned it in the last episode, but we did run into an issue with our supplier. They've actually stopped making folders, which is a real kick in the teeth. So we've actually had to source to a new company, and they are working on prototypes for us right now. In fact, I'm expecting them to arrive probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks, and then if we're happy with it, we're going to hit the big order and order hundreds of these things to the tune of thousands and thousands of dollars. So bear with us, we're still working on it, but we are making steady progress on the new folders. We still do have folders in stock, so it's not really a giant issue. However, it is going to be an issue if we don't get that resolved before February, because I think we have like maybe 2 or 3 left in the UK. So we're working on it. New folders are incoming. What else do you need to know? The deck boxes, I think I previously mentioned this too. We are working on some really nice felted deck boxes as well. More information on those as we get into Gen 6. It's really not something we would introduce mid-gen or more end-gen. We have new cards series planned. Yes, I'm going to touch on that right at the end of this episode. I think you'll really like what you're going to see, so look out for that. It's time for us to do some more artist series. So if you are a talented artist out there and you're thinking to yourself, I'd love to do a series of artwork for KupoCon, you'd like to do an artist series, drop us an email, support@kupocon.com, and just throw in the subject header there, artist series, and send us your portfolio. And if we think we can make it work, then we will certainly consider you. But keep in mind, the number of people who come to us usually when we say we're looking for artists is pretty intense, so we have to be very selective. So no offense if you don't get selected. It's nothing personal, it's just there's a lot going on, you know. So that's the artist series. The Ultimania, we are going to update that for 6.x as well. We released it not too long ago there, and everyone seems to love the Ultimania, so we're just going to update it with the newest cards, and we'll throw out a new version in the very near future, so do look out for that as well. Generation 1. Generation 1 has been out now for 6 years. So it has some age to it, and it is time for us to let it go. We have, honored the cards, we have blessed them, we have circulated them many, many times, but it is time to finally retire Generation 1. So we haven't had Generation 1 in boosters for a while now anyway, but the starter packs will no longer be printed as of Gen 6. So if you don't have cards 1 to 50, now is the time. Once they are gone, they're gone. We will not replace them. So please keep this in mind. It's going to come around rapidly, and I suspect if you're new to collecting, then you're going to kick yourself if you don't have the first 50 cards. So if you want to grab those, I think that it would be worth looking into sooner rather than later. Characters will start reappearing in future releases. So when we first got into doing KupoCon and we introduced the Tripon series, we didn't expect to really go this far, like when we first released the cards, I didn't even know KupoCon was going to make it more than a couple of years. So, I never planned to stretch it out, which meant that we did a lot of the really iconic characters in the first 50 or first, say, 100. So what we're going to do is we're going to start revisiting them because the art style has changed very much in Tripon. We started off with a kind of like more anime style, cartoony style, and now we're moving into more intricate detail. So we're going to start revisiting characters. So many of the characters that you've seen in 1 to 50 have actually already been redrawn or are in the process of being redrawn. So you'll start to see those feed through in the next 12 to 18 months. So that's exciting. Are we ready to take a look at 5.5, which releases in October? Should we take a look? So this is what we have coming up for 5.5. So we have some new location cards, which I'm sure you will recognize, or hopefully you recognize. And we do have some new monster cards, and we have a different colored chocobo there. So let's go through them. We've got Lakeland, and we've got Baron, we've got Arclight Step, we've got World of Darkness. So we've got a nice selection of new locations there. You may recognize these from the coins that we just released. So any smart ass that was sat there looking at the designs of the back cards for the coins may have realized that these are Tripon art. And then we have Goon, Dr. Sid. I've never known the pronunciation of this one. Is it Sina? China? What would you put your money on? I'm not really sure. from 9, of course. Freaky character. Chocobo, which is a white variant this time. We already have, I think, 2 variants floating around there. Sonon, Abzu, Tataru, and obviously we had to throw in one of the comical monsters, which is Gimme Cat. People think it's Sinner. Is that what it is? Have we ever actually heard a voice actor say it in anything? Just trying to think if we would have. Anyway, if somebody wants to educate me there, I'm totally open to it. I'm glad to see people are pleased to see Spirits Within getting some love there. So we got a beautiful new set of cards here. And as I said, these will be releasing very, very soon. Now, I can't 100% guarantee that there'll be a 5/5 release. We may try and throw a few extra cards in there before we get to February, but for now we're going to say that this is probably it for Gen 5. We'll see. It does heavily depend on how our resources are, and just like the rest of you, resources are pretty tight with the way the world is right now. So let's move on and talk a little bit about La Pomme. I should also point out, I point this out every episode, it's probably common knowledge, but the ranks on these cards are obviously all the same. They don't show the medals. This is just for your benefit so you can see the designs, the ranks, and medals are changed before release. So we're here to talk about La Pomme 2. 2 guests announced already. We've announced Colin Ryan, the voice of Alphino, and we've announced the voice actor for Alize Bethan Walker. With possible announcements still to come, we will wait and see if that is the case. But I am pleased to reveal the bag and shirt for the event. So those of you who came to KupoCon Retropom will know that we had a shirt very similar to this, but we decided that the artwork was too fabulous and that it shouldn't just be abandoned for one event, so it has been modified, and we've updated it to Had a Bomb at La Pomme, which has got a beautiful rhyme to it. I do really like the shirt, and they've already gone to print. They'll be with us very soon. And then the bag obviously commemorates the 35th anniversary of Final Fantasy. So if your ticket includes a bag or a t-shirt, then this is what you'll be receiving, among other things, as we get going. But obviously, unlike the Retropom bomb, which was a fire bomb, this is an ice bomb. So I really like these two. So, kind of touching on the La Pomme event, we're getting quite excited for it. Just a reminder to those who are attending that the evening is the All Saints celebration. So it is Halloween themed. So we're encouraging you to dress up in a Halloween outfit for a spooky time. We're really looking forward to the event. Size-wise, I expect it to be quite similar to, say, Vancouver. So it's on the smaller side for a KupoCon. But you know what? Sometimes that can be really quite special because it creates that intimacy, which is something that we've always just thrived on. So I think you'll really enjoy the event. We still have a fair chunk of tickets left. We are going to be closing up table applications any time now. I believe we do have a few applications pending. Again, if you had tickets for La Pomme, the original La Pomme in 2020, you do need to claim your new tickets. Do not turn up at the door with a 2020 ticket. They will not be able to help you. Make sure that you redeem a new ticket. Full information is on our website. If you're not sure what kind of ticket you have, look at the print off you have. Does it have 2022 written on it? Does it have October 22nd? If it does, good job, you're on the right ticket. If it's not, please replace it. That's not to say that the value is not still there. You just need to make sure that you go through the proper channels and make sure that you haven't already claimed it. There were a number of people who had forgot that they'd claimed it through the store there. Just having a quick check of the chat here. So everything is looking good. Excellent. Okay, so as I said, we're not too far off La Pomme. We're very excited for it. We're going to have quite the clearance table at La Pomme. It gives us an opportunity to clear out our North American lockup. So if you have the ability to come and join us, do so. If you're not living in Canada and you've been thinking, I'd like to go to an international KupoCon or whatever, and you've been thinking about doing it, there is no better opportunity. This event is at the airport. You literally walk out of the gate, you go into the terminal and turn right, and it's right there. You don't have to leave the building. It's that bloody convenient. So do consider it, actually. I was looking at flight prices recently for various locations for other reasons, and the pricing is so good at the moment. So maybe you've got some air miles to cash in on. Maybe you're just looking for a bit of a getaway. This is a great opportunity, so I do recommend it. Very excited to see so many people, and it's exciting just to be able to deliver Le Pom. Do you know what I mean? I'm so eager to just do it now because it's been years since we spoke about it. So, well, it's time to move on to Glasgow, which I believe many of you are here to talk about, and I am excited to talk through Glasgow. Then I do have some other stuff after Glasgow as well. So let's take a look. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce you to the Glasgow event today, and I'd like to start by showing you the artwork, which I think is, I just think it's fantastic. A huge thanks to Vivian again for putting this together. Take a look at the artwork, see if you can come up with what the event's called. Here it is. So I'm going to give you a second to process it. Just enjoy it and let me know what you think the event might be called. It's also a good opportunity for me to sneak water quietly. It's all part of the process. So do we know what the event is called? It is pretty amazing, isn't it? So I am thrilled to announce that the name for, it looks like we got some smart people are getting it. I'm absolutely delighted to introduce to you KupoCon Unipom. The next KupoCon event is KupoCon Unipom. How exciting, huh? So let's go through. I've got quite a lot of information that I want to talk about, so let's just throw ourselves right into it. Now, try not to get too ahead. I know there's a lot of information on these slides, so we're going to talk about it as we go. Something that is going to probably make many of you very sad, but I believe that this will be our last time in Glasgow for some time. And when I say for some time, I mean maybe 2-3 years, because we want an opportunity, I want an opportunity to visit some new locations. And resources are, one thing, but time is another. I need time to put into other events in other parts of the globe, and I cannot always visit the same locations. So this will be the last time in Glasgow for quite some time. I know I have a tendency to drink at the evening event and then get up on stage and scream, "Oh yeah, we're coming back next year." That's not going to happen this time. I really love Glasgow. I think that the events in Glasgow have a completely different vibe, like on a completely different scale. I can't even, if you've never been to a Glasgow event, maybe you've been to London or Vancouver or Toronto or Newark, or you came to a pop-up or you came to a 15 event. There's something really unique. I've always said about UK events, there's something about the crowd. I've always said that. And that's no disrespect to any other location. There's a really kind of twinkle about the UK events. Those who've been will understand. There's something really special about Glasgow. I don't know if it's the energy, if it's the drink. I'm not sure what it is, but it's on another scale. So it pains me to say it, but this will be our last time in Glasgow for some time. We expect this to be our largest Glasgow event to date. I have no doubt of that whatsoever. Not only are we expecting more people, we are utilizing a little bit more space this time. So brace yourself. It won't be as large as London, of course, but it will be pretty big, and we're very excited for that. It is the first Generation 6 event. We are moving on, and we are entering Generation 6. It will be on February 11th, 2023 at the Hilton Glasgow. Now, for those of you who've been to If you've been to the Hilton before, you'll know it's a lovely venue, but they've actually had a complete refit, so it looks completely different now. So it's going to be like stepping into a fresh venue anyway. All the bedrooms, I'm pretty sure all of the bedrooms now have been done over, so it's an exciting opportunity to go check it out and kind of experience in a brand new kind of feel, right? So the day event will run from 9 till 5:30, slight adjustment of time there, and the evening will run from 7:30 till midnight. Now, we will likely push past midnight. Unlike London, where we are quite restricted on the time that we end, in Glasgow we are not. So we will probably push longer. And you will notice that we're starting the evening a little bit earlier this time. We have been getting into the habit of starting at 8 and finishing at midnight, but we're going to start at 7:30, and we're going to end the day event slightly earlier to compensate for that. Because I think that the evenings are really nice to just kind of let it all let it all go. So that's what we chose to do. The 9 o'clock as a star there, I'll explain to you why in a second. Why it's asterisk. I'll explain that to you in a second. Or on the next slide I will. So the room block is going to open in mid-July. Why are we opening the room block? Well, before we had it locked behind tickets. We're not doing that anymore. We're going to try this a little bit different this time. We're actually just going to open tickets up just like they are by themselves, but the room block will open by itself. So as soon as the portal goes up next month with all the information in detail about the event, obviously I'm going to give you the details today, but when the website goes up, the room block opens and you can book a room straight away. Why are we doing this? Because rooms are expensive. You know, if you're staying 2 or 3 nights, it adds up. So we don't think it's fair for people, especially with the way the world is right now. Everything's so bloody expensive. If you're just even trying to put petrol in your car or gas in your car, right, it's very expensive. So we want to make sure that you can spread your expenses out. So we're opening the room block in mid-July. And if it fills really quickly, we can work with the hotel to try and extend that. Rooms are going to start at £119. I think that's a little bit more than previously, but as I said, they have had a massive refit, so you're going to fill that as soon as you walk in the door. However, I will say that the cat's meowing, it's throwing me. The hotel it's made a huge improvement, and I will say that when I did check the cost of the rooms earlier, they are much more expensive on the website. They're actually at around £170-180 a night. So if you do plan to stay at the hotel, I would recommend that you check the room block first, because it's much more affordable. So public sales will begin on Thursday, September 29th. It's still a way off. Yeah, you can hear Pixel. I'm sorry. I did tell Nat she had one job to keep the cat out, and she's failed. So I've just sent her a message telling her to hoist him away. He's a bit of an attention seeker, that one. If you saw the interviews this weekend, you'll know that he had a tendency to just drop in and hang out, which that's Pixel. He is a bit of an attention seeker. Anyway, public sales will begin on Thursday, September 29th. Pop that in your diary. I expect tickets are going to be quite savage, as they usually are for UK events. So please make sure you keep an eye on that. Patrons, as before, will have a 24-hour advance on tickets. We've done that now for countless events. I forget how many we've done it for, maybe 7, 8, maybe 9, I'm not sure. But it works very, very well. It allows us to kind of break up the explosion of tickets and kind of gives a lot of you peace of mind in getting the tickets you want without the panic. And it does work very, very well. So that's what we're going to do and continue to do for the future. We've decided that we're going to make the early Chocobo discount a patron exclusive. There are 2 reasons for this. Number 1 being that we have found on every occasion, it doesn't matter how much we scream it from the rooftops, discount codes are missed. And then people will try and get that retroactively added, which we cannot do. So what we've decided to do is that if we make the early Chocobo discount a patron exclusive, we can really force the discount on so it's there and you can't miss it. and then it won't affect normal sales. It's also a great way for us to thank our patrons by giving them that discount. So that's a decision we've made. I hope you can understand why. Like I said, most of you miss it anyway, but the early Chocobo discount is now going to be a patron exclusive. And most of the people, if not all of you watching today, are patrons, so I thank you for that. Cosplayers can still save 5% on the tickets at any time. We always have the Dress Sphere discount, and that's not going anywhere. So the times of day will be based on ticket type. So 9 o'clock is when the doors will open, but we've decided that we're going to allow our top tier tickets in the door about 15 to 20 minutes before everybody else. The exact times will be published on our website next month, but we're going to do this for a couple reasons. Obviously, we want to make it so our top tier ticket holders have an opportunity to come in the door without any issues. And we're changing registration slightly, which should make things a real breeze. Now, I think we've had excellent registration up until now anyway, but this is going to really push it to the next level, which I'll touch on in just a moment. So let's talk about the tickets. The ticket types are named after the four fiends from Final Fantasy I. We're going to start with Lich, which is the NPC ticket at £29. Do you know what is really quite spectacular? I was looking back over the ticket costs that we've had over the last 5.5 years. And it absolutely blows my mind that, I know it's my own doing, but it blows my mind that we've been able to keep ticket prices the way they are. So the first KupoCon in the UK, the ticket was £30 for the base ticket, and we're still rocking the £29 ticket. That makes me very happy. We are doing everything we can to keep ticket prices the same. Everything. I, again, stressing on the fact that I understand that the cost of things have gone up recently. And the cost for us has gone up. The cost of Tripon printing is way higher. The cost of shipping is absolutely awful. The cost of t-shirts. These things have all increased dramatically. In some cases, as much as 30%. When it comes to shipping, it's really bad. But we're making sure that it doesn't affect you. We're just having to be economical on our side and trying to tighten our purse strings as much without it affecting the end user. So to be able to keep ticket prices at this, not to brag, but I'm really bloody proud of that. So Lich is £29, that's your NPC, and that just gives you access to the event. I think that this is a great ticket for your Uncle Bob or your partner Jim, who thinks Final Fantasy is some, club down the road. It's designed for someone who doesn't really care too much or has been dragged to the event. However, it's also good for someone who may not be overly familiar with KupoCon and just wants to get into the vibe and experience what it's like. It's also a great ticket for someone who's got to watch their pennies this year. You can still come in and experience the event with a few restrictions, and I'll talk specifically about what NPC, non-playable character, means as we get a little bit more into this. Marilith is £39, that's your standard ticket. It has your quest log included, and anyone who's come to a KupoCon will know that the quest log is everything. You go around, you complete quests, you get gil, you do hunts, you get gil, you spend gil. It's unique, it's fantastic, it's not like any other con. It's just brilliant. So I think personally, and as most people will tell you, the quest log is a huge part of the event. So if you do come to the event on an NPC ticket and your Uncle Bob's like, this is amazing, he can buy a quest log and still participate. So you're not completely doomed. But if you want peace of mind to make sure you've got that quest log, and for your Uncle Bob, I'd suggest Marilith. If we go up from there, we go to Kraken, which is £59. That's your premium, as your quest log, a bag, and a tea included. And then when you go above that, you go to the ultimate ticket, which is Tiamat, which is £99. That's your ultimate loot. So that's your quest log, your bag, your tea, your premium items included. Just go look at our previous events to see the epic things we've included previously. It gives you the priority entry, so you get in the door early. It gives you access to the guests for priority as well. And you get your Chucker Pass. So if you're not familiar with what a Chucker Pass is, it's basically an addition that allows you to get additional discounts at the event. We trialed it at Retropom. We liked how it worked, so we want to kind of extend on that a little bit further. A guest signing package will be announced once we've announced all our guests. I can tell you, I've already confirmed 2 guests, really good ones at that. I won't be sharing them with you today, but I am really hyped about who they are, and we'll be sharing that information with you soon. In fact, I believe this could be before tickets go on sale. I'm really hoping that I'm going to push those names to you beforehand, so that not only will you go into tickets excited, but you'll know who some of the guests are as well. So that's exciting. Do you think I'm trying to give you tea bags? I'm seeing something in the... Is it because I said bag tea bag? No, there's no tea bags included. Sorry to disappoint. So let's talk about exactly what the guest signing package is. If you're new to KupoCon, in short, when you go to a convention, typically you will spend stupid amounts of money on meeting guests. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 pounds. Yeah, no way, not on my watch. So we want to make it affordable. So what we do is we come to an agreement with our guests for X number of autographs, X number of selfies. And then what we do is we give them X amount of money for their time. And then we take that amount, divide it out by the number of print packs that we can produce. We hire an artist, produce beautiful artwork, which is always unique, really cool. And then you can take that and get it signed by the guest or have something else signed at a massively reduced cost. So on average, I don't think anyone has ever spent, when they've bought a signing package from us, I don't think they've ever spent more than £15 per guest. So understand the massive discount involved here. And they're always limited. So they will be released at a later date. So do keep your eye on when they will be released. We do our best to make sure everyone has a mass amount of notice, but this is a great reason why you can be a patron and get early access to these sorts of things. So, shall we push forward? Let's talk about what NPC is. So a lot of people do ask us, what is NPC? So it's non-playable character. It's exactly how it sounds. You can do the following. So you can access the event, you can walk around, see the cosplayers, talk to people, do your thing. You can attend the interviews and ceremonies. So you'll be there for the opening, you can see the guest interviews, any pals that we might have on. You can come to the closing ceremonies, you can see the event. You can access the market, which is fantastic. You can see all the wares that people are selling. You can come check out the KupoCon shop. You get to see basically the full functioning event. But the things you cannot do, you cannot use the discounts. The discounts on tickets will not work. You cannot pre-register. Oh, what's this pre-register? You can participate in the, you cannot, participate in the Tripon tournament, which is obviously our triple triad game. You cannot access the guest signings. If you want to meet a guest, it is not an option for an NPC ticket holder. You will know from your experience that if you came to Retropom, it was very, very busy, and we did have a hard time managing those queues. So we've decided that NPC will no longer be able to access the guests. It is the simplest way to keep queues reasonable. You will not be able to purchase the meet and greet packs. It's not an option. And you will not be able to complete the quest log, which I think is a huge part of the event. And last, which is something that we've already had previously, is you won't be able to participate in stage events. It really is an observer ticket. So keep that in mind. If NPC is for you, I understand. But I think it's kind of better for someone who's coming along with someone else, maybe as a support, or just, you want someone to go with. It's that kind of ticket. But again, if money's tight and you just want to get there and you still want to be involved, it still works. You can still participate in almost everything. Let's move on. So the evening event is called Garden Festival. Why is it called Garden Festival? Well, for those of you who've been looking and know your dates, you will know that it lands on the anniversary of Final Fantasy VIII. Yes, so we've decided that the evening will be school-themed. Now, you can let your heart run wild here with what you might want to do. Many of you have probably been out of school for some time. Maybe you've got a school tie somewhere hidden in there, or a blazer or a cap or whatever. But dig deep. We're going to go school themed. Perhaps you're coming as a teacher or a student or headmaster Sid perhaps. I think this could be quite fun. We're trying not to take it too seriously. It should be a lot of laughs. We're going to do some school games, and there's something else planned, but I can't tell you about it because it'll spoil one of the announcements upcoming. So just kind of look out for further information. It's going to be £20 a ticket, and it includes a free gift. Let me know if you want to know what the free gift is now. You must be 18 or over to attend this. There's drinking, of course, and you must have attended the day event. We do this because way back when we started to notice that people were using the evening event as an opportunity, as a way to access guests without coming to the day event. We don't like that. We want it to be an opportunity for you to, breathe a sigh of relief and enjoy the downtime in the evening. So it is strictly for those who've attended the day event. And obviously it's important that we'll be able to see your pass so we know that you attended the day. Would you like to know what the free gift is? So, I wasn't sure if I was going to tell you, but I feel like I want to tell you. I think it's exciting. We're creating, and again, this is a free gift. We're creating KupoCon ties, school ties. So everybody will go home with a unique school tie. I'm not going to tell you about the design, but it's really cool, really unique, and I think you'll love it. So that's a free item as you walk in the door. So really, when you think about what the cost of a merch item usually is, I think that it's a great little gift, and I hope you like it. So we'll show off the designs and whatnot as we get a bit further into it. But I mean, you can imagine the cost involved with producing things like this. So we really are tightening that belt to make sure that we can fully deliver for you. So let's talk a little bit about the things that we're doing to make registration that little bit more epic. We're going to try this at Unipom for the first time. I'm very confident in its ability to work. I'm very confident in its ability to make things better for you. As a patron bonus, patrons can now pre-register on Friday night between 6 and 8 o'clock. You will have a 2-hour window where you can go to a designated room and collect your loot. So you can collect your badge, you can collect your loot items, your quest logs, whatever is included with your ticket, so that the morning of, you can just walk in the door. You just get checked, and you just walk in the door. How much easier could it get? As a reward for pre-registering, we're going to give you a gil bonus so that you can spend that at the Tawakas while you're there. We think it's going to massively speed up registration, and it gives you an advanced look at the quests and the hunt. So the night before, you can flick through your quest log and go, I could do this with this person, and look, I know so-and-so, he cosplays Cloud. I'm going to message him and say, look, I want to do this with you to make sure I maximize my gil on this. So you can plan ahead and maximize on your hunts and things like that, because as those of you who've been to KupoCon will know that hunts usually have special criteria, so it gives you planning time. So patrons will give you the opportunity to pre-register the night before, 6 till 8. Another reason why I think the $5 on Patreon makes a big difference, and to us it's huge. Now more than ever, Patreon makes a difference. So that's what I have for you for Unipom, which will be our first Generation 6 event. I'm very excited for it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you're excited about the tie. I hope you're excited about... I can't even begin to tell you about the amount of new Tripon coming for Gen 6, but we'll get there. There's so much to tell you. The guests that we have are I can't, but just hang fire. I'm really excited for this one. This is going to work out really, really well. I would point out, obviously, that if you have an NPC ticket, you cannot pre-register, as I've already mentioned on the previous slide there, mainly because there's nothing to pre-register for. The reason why we're really encouraging people to pre-register is because we're going to be scanning people in this time, literally scanning. So we want to try and break it down. So this is an amazing thing for patrons. So please do consider taking advantage of that. So that is Glasgow. Are we excited? Look at the artwork. I mean, Vivian did such a good job. And for those of you who might be looking at this a little bit confused, yes, it is because the national animal of Scotland is the unicorn, believe it or not. Okay, so now we move on to our next point of call, which is the 16 tour. Just saw a question there about registration. It said, if you have two of us coming, can I bring somebody with me to pre-register? You need to be a patron to pre-register. So if the person who made the order is a patron, we can scan everybody in on that. But if two people turn out and one of them's not a patron, we cannot do that. This is a patron exclusive. So let's talk about the Final Fantasy 16 tour. I'm sure many of you, or probably all of you, you saw the trailer, which was quite exciting. I'm certainly excited for Final Fantasy 16. I think it'll be a fresh take on the series. Let's hope it pays off for them. It's planned for the summer of 2023. We are excited for that. We are going to do an online event for those who can't attend in person. We have at least 3 physical events planned. I cannot tell you where at this point. It's a secret. And actually there is a little bit of a mechanic for you guys that I think will interest you about locations, but I'll talk about that in the near future. Each event will have a free pop-up event, so it's not just going to be an evening event. We are actually going to make a full day out of it. Not a full KupoCon, but kind of like the pop-up shops that we did in London and we did in Toronto. We're going to make a day out of it, so there is a free aspect to it, and just the evening will be paid. Let's maximize on what we've got here. So I will touch more on the 16 tour later this year. At this point, I cannot touch too much more on it. Too many factors. So hang fire, more information to come in the near future. So let's just recap. August, we've got the 15th anniversary tour in London with Adam Crosdale. I think we've got like 30 tickets left for that. That's in August. Come, it's going to be fantastic. We're going to end the 15 tour with a bang. Grab your ticket while you still can. In October, we hop over to Tripon in Montreal, Canada, which is going to be a great event. I'm really looking forward to it. As I said, it's going to be a little bit more intimate, which is fantastic. And for Montreal, it's the first time they've had a KupoCon, and they've been waiting more than long enough for it. December, we come into the online event to celebrate 35 years of Final Fantasy. We've already kind of done a little bit of that this week with Pomline. New shirts, new coins, all sorts of things have been released on our store, kupo.shop. Double points expire tonight, so take advantage of that. If you're not familiar, we do have Kupo Nuts on our store now, which basically means every $1 you spend, you get 2 Kupo Nuts, and then you can change these Kupo Nuts and redeem them for store credit, and it adds up really quickly, especially this weekend. Then after that, we move into February for Unipom in Glasgow, Scotland, our first Gen 6 event. And then into the summer of 2023, we have the Final Fantasy 16 tour. And then, where do we go from there? We move to the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth tour. So it's planned for early 2024. The online event for those who cannot attend. And again, there will be at least 3 physical events. We already have some locations for both the 16 and 7 Rebirth tours in the works. However, we'd like to know where you'd like to see these events. So we're open to your feedback because we want to go where the people want us to go. So we are primarily focusing on the US, Canada, and the UK, but we are considering further afield as well. So let us know where we should go. Speak loud, speak clear, get the masses to tell us, and we will adjust our plans accordingly. I can tell you one thing for sure, that it is very unlikely the launch events will be in London, certainly for both of them anyway. We are absolutely looking at a different city right now for one of them, which I think is overdue. So now I want to talk about a sad part, but a good part, hopefully. I want to talk about poor Ponza. Poor bloody Ponza. So those of you who may not know what Ponza is, Ponza was the Australian event that was planned. It was planned for 2020. Then the pandemic came in and trashed it. And we tried to reschedule and we just couldn't. So we indefinitely postponed. Then we tried to set up a 15 event, their anniversary event, and they were still in lockdown when we announced it. And then by the time we actually really started to churn tickets, it was really just too late. So Australia has really just not had the best of luck with KupoCon so far. So I'd like to try and change that. So that's what happened. And are we going to reschedule? Yes, 100%. In fact, we are actively working on it right now. I want to deliver Ponza. The list of voice actors that want to do an Australian event is endless. So if you want us to come to Australia, let us know. We are working on it behind the scenes. There's a lot of debate right now whether or not we should return to our original plan of going to Sydney instead of Melbourne. We may even throw it to a public poll. Look out for further information. We're going to come to Australia. We're going to make it happen. We've decided we're going to plan really far in advance with a date really far in advance so that you guys can plan for it. And God forbid there's another pandemic. We're going to push past. We're going to make this happen. So I thank you for sticking with us. But the pandemic really threw the spanner in the works for everybody, and we've done our absolute best to recover. Ponza is the last event that we needed to recover from the great pandemic. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to deliver. I said I would, and I'm going to stick to it. Okay, we're now going to switch over to a completely different topic to do with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I have a little bit of an update from a good friend of mine.
Hi everyone, MJ Gallagher here. Hope we're all having a fantastic Pomline weekend. I'm just stopping by to let you know that the finale of my Final Fantasy VII Remake video series, which breaks down all the compilation lore and Easter eggs of the game, will be dropping on KupoCon's YouTube channel very, very soon. I've had a wonderful time making this series. I hope you've enjoyed watching it half as much as I've enjoyed creating it. And I'd just like to give a massive, massive thank you once again to Alex for commissioning the series. If you haven't already done so, please do check out the full playlist on KupoCon's YouTube channel. But that's all from me. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful KupoCast, and I'll see you at a physical event soon.
Help if I unmute my microphone. As MJ Gallagher, as Mo says, he has now completed his series, and we are delighted to be able to premiere that episode tomorrow. It's a lengthy one, so do make sure you watch that. If you have not watched the series already, you absolutely should. The detail is mind-boggling, so you should go and watch it. Even if you think to yourselves, oh, I'm probably not really that interested. You will watch it and it will blow your socks clean off. It will blow your brain out. It is just so detailed, and there are so many things that I didn't even pick up on. And I thought I was, I thought I was pretty good, but there's so much in there. So do go and watch the series on YouTube. The final episode premiering tomorrow. And I should say that I was really delighted to have supported that. Like, we were really delighted to to financially get behind that and do something so cool like that. So anyway, go watch it, YouTube. So we move on to general updates now. And we're getting towards the end of the episode now. So Patreon, we're discontinuing Gil vouchers at the end of this year. So for those of you who are on our top tier, thank you. Your support is, I can't measure it. Now more than ever. I won't lie to you, I've always been a straight kind of guy, I think. We have seen a decrease across the board. From ticket sales to patrons to everything. And I'm not just seeing this in KupoCon, I'm seeing it in all the events that I do. Why is this? Because the economy is damaged. Because we are going through a very rough patch right now with the inflation across the world. It's a bit of a shit show. Let's call it what it is. So our patrons are the true lifeblood of everything we do. So from me to you, sincerely, if you stuck with us on Patreon, whether it's $5 or $50, thank you. It makes all the difference. I've said this at events before. If every single person who went to a KupoCon was on Patreon, I can't tell you what we'd be able to accomplish. It's off the charts. So thank you. I really appreciate your support. And it gives me a great driving force, especially the patrons have been helping us pick the Tripon cards. In fact, those of you who are patrons will know many of the cards I showed today were ones that you picked. So just thank you for getting behind us and sticking with us. I know that it's probably, you've heard it a billion times, but it really, now more than ever, means everything. So thank you. With the discontinuation of Gil vouchers, this isn't a bad thing, this is a good thing. It was something that we included with the $50 ones, but they're physical vouchers, which means they're very hard to trade in online. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you Kupo nuts instead. And it's so easy. We can literally take the whole patron database and go, this person gave $50 this month, here's X amount of Kupo nuts, and we're actually considering giving it to all 3 tiers, and we'll give you more nuts depending on what tier you are. So you're earning rewards every month that you can physically see rather than wasting card and having a, let's face it, obsolete system. So we think that this is a better way forward, but know that those Gil vouchers that you've got now are still good, and they'll be good for the whole of Gen 6. So they're probably going to be good for the next 18 to 24 months. So don't panic. Plenty of time. Nuts will definitely make it easier. You're never going to hear me say that again. Ambassadors, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has applied to be an ambassador so far. We have begun the interview process. I would like to thank Nikki and Nikita for all their work on that. I know that it's a long process, but we are going to begin the selections next month and start to announce our official seeds of KupoCon. And they're going to be there to help rep the brand, and their support means everything to us. So I thank them in advance. Look out for announcements in the near future. For Health and Home, how many of you participated in For Health and Home? If you did, on our Patreon, which is free, by the way, to participate in, but if you supported us financially, you can claim your For Health and Home medal. And I can't show it to you because if I get close, it's just going to be blurry because my camera's set on a set focus. But it is a gorgeous medal. We're very pleased with these. They're free. We'll just send them out to you. If you completed the program, just complete the form on Patreon. It's a 15-week program about trying to get healthy, both mentally and physically. So do consider it if you need that extra nudge. I myself have been really pushing myself recently, trying to get into shape after a couple nasty health scares. So it's really nice to be able to do something like this. So if you're looking for that little boost, then I think For Health and Home is for you. POM Squared. I know many of you are excited about POM Squared, and so am I, but I won't have any updates for you today. I'll have updates in the next KupoCast, and the next KupoCast will be in November, probably early November. But for now, I don't have anything to share, apart from what I've already previously said, that we're looking at the late part of 23, and it's going to be exciting. And I would also like to touch on the near side of things, that I know a lot of you know that we announced another convention and that we are working on that too, and more information will be released on that probably by November for KupoCast as well. And then I'm going to end on a slightly negative note, and for this I apologize. But I don't know when it was. I think it was, I believe it was pre-pandemic or it was early pandemic. We announced that we were going to produce a Kingsglaive calendar. I am sad to report that we've decided to abandon the project for the following reason. It's mainly a time thing. It's partially budget based, but it's been too long, and we don't think it will interest enough people. We think the window of opportunity has passed, so we've decided, unfortunately, I apologize, it was my decision to make, but I have decided it was the right thing to do to abandon the calendar, because with the way the economy is, we'd rather focus our efforts on reducing the cost of or keeping, holding ticket costs, etc. So these kind of things are important to me. So I apologize for those who were looking forward to the weird and lewd Kingsglaive calendar that we joked about, I think, during one of our online events, but we've decided that it's just it's not something we can do, so I do apologize for that. But we have so many exciting things to come, and I see people talking about Eurocon here, and there's a lot in the works that you don't know about, so stay tuned. There's much to come. Now, if there are any questions that you have that have come up from this episode, now is the time to ask it before I show you my final update. So if you do have a question, please go ahead. I'll try and grab as many as I can while I'm still here. And then I'm going to show you just one more little tidbit. So yeah, I am very excited for everything that's upcoming. As I said, I would talk more about the other events that we're planning, but I think it's better saved for later in the year. Can we get a King Mog one? What, King Mog lewd calendar? I don't think you want that. Are we good? Can I move on? I think we might be good. Okay, so if everyone's good, I'm going to move on. The final detail is, I said that we've been working on some new Tripon cards, or a new Tripon series. And this is... Oh, somebody wants a update on the books. The books are still in process. The RPG series, yeah, we're still working on those. The make your own adventure stories. They're still in the works, but it's going to be a while before we're able to provide updates. So hang fire on that. When will we have a date for Australia? I'm hoping to share more information before the end of the year. Let's say that. Okay, I'm going to move on because I'm sure the questions will keep coming, but if there are some big questions afterwards, I'll do my best to... there's one good question there about tables for Glasgow. They'll open with tickets, just like they usually do. I'm so proud. There's one thing that really bugs me. I'm just going to share a little pet peeve with you, is that people will turn around and go, you can't run a convention like this. You can't do this. You can't do a convention and give away tables. You have to charge a premium for tables and this. No, you don't. If you are new to KupoCon, or even if you're not, and I'll sing it from the rooftops, we're not like a normal convention, and I'm bloody proud of that fact, that we can do what most conventions cannot. So we will open tables once again, free with a ticket, and they will open alongside ticket sales in September. Right, let's move on. Nice fancy little extra detail for you. We've been working on a new set of Tripon cards. Now, yes, we're about Final Fantasy and Chocobos and all that stuff, but what are we well known for? It's Moogles, of course. You'll notice that my little friend down here has had a bit of a colour revamp, and he's looking nice and fresh. But I want you to know that there's much fresh merch coming in with Moogles and logos and all sorts of things that I'll be revealing to you in the near future. But we wanted to do a special series for KupoCon, and you'll know how popular our promo cards have been in the past. We'll do things like Winter Mog and oh god, why is my brain like, we've done Carnival Mog, and we've done all sorts of different Moogles, and it's always fun. But the world is much bigger than Final Fantasy, And, we've done crossover cards where we've had like 2B and we've had Sora. But what if we took the promos, and what if we took the crossovers and we... Know where I'm going with this? I assure you this is one of many. To me there are many things I like. Many iconic series. Many movies and TV shows and books and things that I love. And I think to myself, what would happen if the two collided? I wonder. That's all I've got for you today. Take care. Thank you so much for your support. Now, more than ever, I scream it from the rooftops. It makes all the difference. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.